This video is about your kids that are nonverbal. I have a nonverbal child she's 22 now, but at the time of her diagnosis at 15 months, she didn't speak and she didn't say anything. All she did was scream and yell, and she didn't say anything probably until she was well into the double digits. So what did we do? What did I do? What I did is I studied her. I studied her like a hawk because we are used to communicating with words. Of course. Well, when you speak, then you can communicate what you need, what you don't want, what you like, what you don't like. But our children, the ones that are nonverbal, they speak a different language. So as a parent, I want to reframe this for you. It's not what they don't have. Okay, big woo. They don't have words, but they have other things. They speak a different language, and we as parents just need to catch up. Okay, so when my daughter was little, she would play or she would just be in the room, and I would watch every facial expression, her eyebrows, how they moved up and down, her face. Did she tilt her head to one side or the other? Did she shrug her shoulders? I could see it in her eyes. I could see it in her eyes. I would look and stare and watch like a scientist, and I would take note. And that served me very well, because now that she's older, she doesn't have to tell me. She has very little speech, very little language, and it's a feeling. I can feel my daughter now because I spent all those years studying her and connecting with her on a different level. And if you don't understand, I don't know any other way to explain it to you, but you connect spiritually with your children in a different way, and you can feel. Remember, you're their parent, and if you tap into your intuition, you'll know when something's not right, and you'll know deep down what you need to do. So some things that I did, I tried to incorporate sign language. And she picked up a few. We did a few of them. But I have to tell you, even though she doesn't use it as much now as an adult, she did use it when she was little. She picked up on a couple of signs. And they come in really handy because sign language you can use from a distance, because you can see. I can see and she can see. And I remember we would be places and I'm getting ready to leave somebody's house, and they're waiting for me by the door because they want to get the hell out. And I would be able to tell them, sit down. I could tell them, sit down, from across the room without saying, sit down, or stop doing that. I could just say, stop. And they would kind of like, oh. So I could communicate without words, without sound, just with my visuals. I could say, stop, sit down, or I would tell them to wait, or I would tell them, we could do all kinds of signs, and it comes in very handy because it's from across the room, and you don't have to yell. Our kids don't like that anyway. It's not good for them. But use sign language and connect with your children. I also used PECS. PECS is PECS, and it's an acronym for Picture Exchange Communication System. And it comes in handy for some things, but realistically, you cannot have a ring with every single picture of every single word that exists in the dictionary. It's not a thing. So I had a few, and I used to have a few around the house as well for my daughter to use. And it worked well because they are very visual. They see in images, they communicate in images. And so it became very helpful, especially if she was trying to tell me that she has hurt. Then I could show her some pictures, and I'm like, hurt where? On your head, on your back, on your, and one time she told, that's how we found out that she had a tooth decay, because she was acting out and misbehaving, and you think it's behavior. There's a message behind the behavior. They are not misbehaving because they're brats, okay? So stop thinking that. Start digging in to why are they doing this? What is it? There's something underlying that is causing them to act out. And remember, they don't have words. They can't communicate. So all they know how to do is, ah! So what is it? What is the about? It's about something. And start to see, are they hurt? Does their tummy hurt? Maybe they're hungry, maybe they're thirsty, maybe they're hot, maybe they're cold. You have to figure all of this out. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. But you will get better at it. And so we used pictures as well to help communicate certain things. Sometimes, when they figure it out, they'll bring a little picture of it to you, of whatever it is they want, a juice box or something, a snack or something. And it encourages words to come. At least it did for my daughter. So she could say the words. Now, does she want to say the words? No, that's not how they want to communicate. She wants to communicate in a different way, and she does. And it's more of a connection. It's more of an intuitive type of communication. But you can also use a picture exchange communication system. Now, back in the day, I had laminated little cards. Now you just have it on your phone or an iPad. So that's another way that you can communicate. Another thing that you will notice is that your nonverbal children will watch the same Pixar video or the same Disney video over and over and over and over and over again. And it's not obsessive compulsive, maybe a little bit, but it comes in handy. And let me tell you why. Because what happens is they learn the script. These kids are brilliant. You have no idea. They're brilliant. They memorize the script, and over time, what ends up happening, at least this happened with my daughter, is she would generalize. And so she would take a sentence or two from the script of the movie that she watched a bazillion times, and she would generalize it and use it in life. And so she would take something from one of those movies and she would say it, and that's how she communicated, because they weren't her words, but she understood what was happening, and so she takes that context out and she plugs it in over here in life, and to try to communicate with me that way. And so she would script. So when they're scripting, they're just repeating over and over and over and over again. And it's also a way they stem. So instead of flapping the hands, my daughter does, this, and she does the rocking back and forth. I mean, sometimes she gets into it. It's okay. They're soothing. So don't stop it. Don't stop them from doing that. That's another video. Focus. Okay. So they will generalize. They'll take the scripting out of a movie or a song or something that they hear repetitively, and they'll use it. So it's okay if they do that. I don't know if you have to encourage it, but it's not a bad thing. So don't make it a bad thing. It's not.